Welcome to the WSTC Championship. This is round 2, held at Zolder, which is located in Belgium. Fantastic track, one of the old legendary circuits, which we used to host the older generation Formula 1 cars from back in the day. And then today, some of the famous DTM races are held at the circuit. Alright, let me just give you a bit of insights into the circuit. Zolder, such a different track in its own nature. You know, we had issues with a lot of the cars cutting the first chicane, which we allowed to a certain degree, but yet it was still declared illegal by a lot of the stewards. But for this race, you know, we sort of like borderline overseeing it because of the nature of the circuit. Once again, it was quite an incredible qualifying session. We had a very, very close fight between Jack Keithley, Ben Tusting, Valentino, and then also Carl was a little bit in the mix during the beginning stages of the qualifying. Sadly, he wasn't able to get into that top 3 bracket. I think from P1 to P3 it was separated by 0.020 of a second, which is incredible. I mean, how do you equate that to somebody in distance over meters? I would say it's probably a few millimeters. Incredible stuff. Let's have a look at Ben Tusting's pole position lap time. We just crossed in the start-finish straight right here. This is one of the most technical left-handers I've ever come across. You know, as you clip the apex on the inside, you've got to battle to try and keep it off the kitty litter over there, and very difficult. Same with this corner. As you enter it, you sort of like slide towards the outside, and as you try to power up to get your exit right, you sort of oversteer, understeer, oversteer. Incredible stuff. This is the fast right-hander. Having a good exit about 165 kilometers per hour is very important to get good straight line speed down the bottom here. As we brake for this famous chicane, where a lot of the cutting happened, as you can see. Still brilliant stuff, you know. It's very difficult to judge such a cut. This is the second chicane. Also one of the areas where a lot of the drivers were cutting. Quite a bit of a very slowish exit there. And this is very famous for a lot of incidents in the braking into this corner. Very slow. And then battle to try and power up out of second gear. And we're almost done with the lap. Another famous braking zone for a couple of incidents. As you see, we're going to slightly cut this curve here, and then on the exit cut it again, then run wide, and that's basically a lap around Zolder. And this was a pole time of 1:39. Alright, we're going to take a bit of a nose camera view of Jack Keithley's lap, which was P2. Going down the straight, hitting about 180 km an hour, hitting the brakes and then turning in slightly, waiting for it, and then nailing it on the gas. Fantastic corner entry there. Once again, this technical corner which requires such finesse going through it, trying to keep the rear end stable while powering up out of the corner. Oh, stationary car, a bit of lag. This is very, very smooth here, but hesitant on the throttle on the entry into that corner, but still very fast. The famous cutting chicane, another one, not too bad. Nice exit over there, about 150 km an hour. Getting into this chicane is very difficult not to cut. You've got this nasty bump on the exit with the rear wheel drives, which makes it difficult for you to power up. Incredible to gain momentum on the exit of that corner. Jack is particularly very good in this section. Very late on the brakes. Seems like he's got a very, very sharp front end on that car. interesting watching his race line. You'll notice that he's got such an early corner entry. His timing sort of on the edge. Oh, that's E2. Alright, let's take a look at Valentino's lap. Just crossing the line, and this is a cockpit view. Bit late braking over there, clipping the apex and then on the exit, nearly touching the grass. Once again, as you can see, not easy to fire up out of this corner. This corner has got about 3 different race lines to attack it. You can either use the curb or you can either enter a late charge and get a good straight line exit. Once again, a lot of cutting in the chicane. Interesting. Such a difficult track, yet so easy. Oh, nasty, can't get the power down there. Braking into this corner without locking your wheels is incredibly difficult. Very, very slow gearbox. Also cutting the slow chicane onto the main straight. And there you have it, that's the top 3 qualifying session. Well done to them. Something interesting was watching the chicane highlights, you know. Looking at Daniel Johnson just getting into a bit of a spin there with Richard Mason. Yuri Bluetake just passing them during that moment. This is just a quick view of everyone and how they cut the chicane. Very, very interesting. Here comes one of the Ford racing drivers and another one. Oh. Here comes Martin Pretorius through there. Wayne Betzer, very smooth. And this looks like Ben Tusting. And James Johnson, and geez, that's definitely Chris Herodes. I mean, he was looking out of his side windows there trying to keep that car on the track. We've got Alex Hersberger, and we've got Carl Dubai, Yuri, Steven Vitterbols, Richard Mason. I mean, you know, it's so difficult to try and penalize the guys through the chicane because everyone was sort of pushing the limits to try and keep it on the track, but at the same time also cut to a certain degree, which is understandable. I mean, it's not going to be that easy to try and get through. That's definitely Dan. Well done to everyone in the qualifying session. Hope you all enjoyed this. Until next time, ciao.